guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by. And I said our YouTube channel because this channel was created by me for you, with you and your family in mind. This journey as a mom or a parent with children with autism, ADHD, epilepsy, or even for families or children with parents who is being affected by Parkinson or Alzheimer's disease. This channel was created with you in mind because there is like so much anxiety. I may feel a little bit apprehensive right now because this is kind of like a very sensitive topic for me. And I kid you not, when I said I kid you not, I cannot find peace. I cannot find happiness. I haven't been able to move on or do whatever it is that I want in my life. I honestly feel as though this is a project that was given to me by God. I actually feel as though this is a mission for me. I don't know. It's not something that I wanted to do. It's not something that I've thought of or have an interest in. To be frank, this has been something that has been on my heart for like years on top of years. Actually, my daughter, she's 11 years old. Her name is Aliana. And to be honest, I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to deal with it. And that's the reason why I went ahead to name this channel Let's Face It. So here we are together. And this is somewhat like therapy for me as well. So here we are now together facing it as parents and has a community whereby you can come by, you can find weekly topics, or you can find discussion that caters to whatever it is that you're experiencing with your family, with your child, with your parent. It is my mission to ensure that I provide quality information that you guys can implement and make changes or bring peace to your life. And when I said peace, I mean peace. Because if you know, you know. Every child is different. Being on the spectrum is different for everyone. Some persons are very like introverted. Some persons are like very outlandish. Some persons, they hurt themselves. They hurt others. Some persons, they damage their tablets. They damage objects. They damage so much things in the home. And not only that, they even harm, like they inflict harm to themselves. Some persons will literally bang their head in the wall. Some persons cannot necessarily deal with loud noises. So if the vacuum is on or if the blender is on, they cover their head. There are like so many sensitivity issues that's involved. So I'm saying this to say everyone's child is different. Every person is different, and autism spectrum disorder, it looks different. Basically, it looks different for everyone, and it takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of patience, and it's gonna take a lot of prayers, and it's gonna take a lot of working together with your partner or working together with your family or just creating a community for your child that is like persons who you hire to assist and help you with your child, working with your husband or working with your partner. In my case, it will be my ex-husband. I must say that my ex-husband is a very, very good dad. He's a very good support system. I could not have asked for a better person to endure or do this with, because there are a lot of cases, and we're going to discuss that as the channel progresses. There are a lot of cases whereby once family finds out or gets a diagnosis of a child with autism, that immediately affects the relationship. Some persons, they just don't want to deal with it. You have cases whereby people have been abandoned. And yes, we're from the Caribbean community. I'm from Jamaica, based in the United States. And unfortunately, there are not so many resources available in Jamaica, or there's not so many resources available in the Caribbean at large. And the awareness is not so predominantly huge or supported as it is predominantly supported in the US. So there's a lot, and it's very hard to navigate the systems. I particularly, my ex-husband and I, when we conceived and we had Aliana, we were like, okay, Aliana, we're gonna get her educated in Jamaica. It's gonna be a case whereby she will like go to school whenever school is in session in Jamaica, because I'm from Jamaica and I have a huge amount of admiration for the education system in Jamaica. So it was our plan to have our daughter be educated in Jamaica, come up for the holidays, summer, Christmas, and whatnot. But we had our plans, but God have other plans. So, it's a bit challenge. And I was kind of heartbroken at first because my dream, or my husband, my ex-husband and I dream, wasn't fulfilled, because obviously Jamaica, at the time when I look into getting my daughter into special needs program in Jamaica, there wasn't much options there. There wasn't much viable options there. And then with my daughter, her challenge is speech delay. She's severely speech delayed, and she's also neurologically delayed. But as this channel grows, or as I continue to let this story out, I'll share more with you about Aliana's situation, where she's at and how she has progressed. But the good news in advance, just know that my daughter has progressed. She's now doing well. She's now able to read, but let us do this step by step because we got time. So I wasn't able to get her into programs into Jamaica, so I've decided to take her back into the US, because the US has so many benefits and so many programs for her to learn and for her to be the individual that she is today. So, saying all of this to say, and that is a mouthful because I got stories up on top of stories, I got guides up on top of guides. But saying that to say, it's a very overwhelming, very, very overwhelming situation to deal with. And if you don't have good support system, it makes it even more challenging. But I would just like to say, if you're new to the channel and if you are here to learn a lot, we're going to be discussing a lot of things step by step. But for this week, I'll just go into the issues of discussing autism. So they refer to it here as autism spectrum disorder. You know, there are different persons. Some persons, they're high up on the spectrum. When I got my daughter diagnosis for the first time, it was severe autism spectrum disorder. While you may have some persons, they're just like on the spectrum, they may not have it as severely or as bad. You have persons who have been diagnosed with autism at the age of 2 years old, or at the age of 3 years old, or depending on how fast you catch it, or it depends on how fast you saw the signs and acted on it. You have persons who have been diagnosed and later on, based on speech therapy, OT, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and special education, they have been able to lose the diagnosis. And that is my heart desire for my daughter. And that is also my heart desire for so many families. But it's not something that's impossible. It's very much possible. So one of the major thing I want to, like, three of the most educational point that I would like to accomplish in this video is the fact or the stages whereby you start looking out for the symptoms, right? The timelines, that is. So if your child is between like 3 to 4 months and they're not saying bye bye or wave or show the hand gesture, I think it's like approximately 4 to 6 months, don't quote me. But the major takeaway I would want to say, pay attention to the different milestones, right? And if you basically do a Google search and you say milestone of a child, you see whereby they show you different stages. They will show you like 2 months, they show you like 3 months, they show you like 6 months, they show you like 9 months, and of course they show you like 12 months, and they show you like 2 years. So my daughter, and this is like such a controversial topic, like I am really, really amazed at myself because I'm literally sitting here and discuss it. Apart from me authoring a book, I've always known that I'm gonna write. I've always known that I'm gonna speak. Like ever since I was a teenager in school, I have been a leader. I've been on debates, like debate teams. I've always been a talkative person. I've always like to speak. I've always liked the idea of writing books. I've always but life happens and then you stray away from your missions or you stray away from your dreams. And I don't know, in some odd way, this is where I'm at. And if you had told me like approximately 3 to 4 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago, when my ex-husband and I, 11 years ago, when my ex-husband and I conceived our child, and I was like an entrepreneur for a tax practice and also an adjunct professor, if someone would have told me that, hey, Sushana, fast forward 11 years later, this will be your reality. The first book you'll publish will be about autism and coping with autism, I would have been like, you're lying. So, saying this to say the trajectory of our life can change so much. Like, you just really don't know what the future holds. And I don't know, saying this to say that I'm here. I'm here. It's very heart-wrenching. I don't even know how I get here, but I'm here. Bear with me. I'll make it through this first video. I promise upcoming videos will be like okay. But this is the first video for me, and I can only be as authentic and real. Like, this is my safe space as so much as it's y'all safe space. But when I receive my daughter, so the second point I want to get across is autism is not a death sentence. Autism is not a death sentence. Autism is not the final say. I'll always recommend that you do not look at your child and say, oh, she's autistic, or she is this, or she's that, or is this, or is that, he's special, forgive me, he's special, is this, is that. No. Your child or my child, Aliana, is Aliana. She is a human being. She may learn different from the way you learn, or she may learn different from the way that someone else learned, but Aliana is Aliana. And not only that, Aliana is a human being. Aliana has dreams, Aliana has goals, and Aliana can somehow grow up to achieve whatever it is that she needs to achieve. So I'm saying this to say, having a diagnosis, whether your child is high on the spectrum, low on the spectrum, or on the borderline of the spectrum, your child is your child, and your child is human, and your child is just as entitled and have just the same amount of rights like a typical child would. So I remember when I got the diagnosis, like I'm saying this to you right now, saying that this is like, it's not a life sentence or it's not a death sentence, but I can tell you, when I received the diagnosis of my daughter, a part of me died. A part of me, like, died. Like, I no longer cared. I didn't want to be. I was so stressed out. I was so confused. I blamed myself. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think. And sadly, I must say that I was also very upset. I was upset with God. I was really, really upset with God because I didn't understand what was going on. Because while growing up as a teenager, I was told that, hey, go to school, get a good education, get married, because at this point I've been exposed to Christianity. So I was just trying to do life the right way. But life just never worked out the way it's supposed to work out. But long story short, you know how it is. Like, you should go to school, you should wait, honor, get married, have a good family. And unfortunately, because of my childhood, I grew up in a very primitive community. Life was very hard and it was very challenging. I held out. I told myself that I wanted to break generational curses. I told myself that I will never have a child unless I'm married. And I also told myself that I will never have a child unless I have my master's degree, because I went all the way. I went to college. I did everything what I was supposed to do, and I was educated all the way up to my master's, and I did so well, and I progressed, and I was like, okay, so now that you have the husband, now that you have the education, now that you have the profession, and now that you have traveled, pretty much traveled a good portion of the world, let's do this baby thing. And I had my first child at the age of 30. And then at the age of 31 or 32, my heart was broken and my heart was shattered in ways that if I'm being honest, I don't think I've completely healed or recovered from it. But saying this to say that I'm in a better place, and there's help, there's hope, and there's opportunity, and it's not the end of the road. And yeah, it's not a death sentence. And one of the regrets that I have as a parent, in the mode of being, or in the name of being transparent, or in the name of being honest, one of the things that I regret doing, or one of the things that I regret not doing, is that I basically wasn't paying attention to the diagnosis. I was living in delusion. I was delusional. I was big, 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 big delusional. My ex-husband, he was more like active. He was more so into the process. I, on the other hand, I was very emotional. I was very broken. I cried all the time. I didn't want to talk with him. I blamed us. And one of the things that another important topic that I want to discuss and wrap up in this video is that um you are not responsible for autism. You didn't create autism. You didn't do anything wrong. For years, I blamed myself. I felt as though I never eaten right during my pregnancy. I felt as though I didn't do something right. I blamed myself for everything. And my ex-husband, God bless his heart, he was like such a good support system. He encouraged me. My mom tried to encourage me, and whoever I had close with me at the time tried to encourage me, but I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it because I was like, I work hard. I did everything that I ought supposed to do. I did things the way that God wanted me to do it. I broke the generational curse by saying, okay, then, from my direct part of the family or from my side of the family, I'll be the first one who had a child at the age of 30. Not only that, of having the child in the age of 30, but I did so in wedlock. So, yeah, it was a lot. So the takeaway from this video is this: pay attention to the milestone of your child. Uh, your child, autism is not a death sentence. Your child can live to achieve, improve, and live a fulfilled life, and also not to blame yourself. You can get involved, get therapy, speech therapy, uh, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and so much more, which I'll cover in another video, because it's my intent to keep these videos sweet, short, and to the point so that we can have takeaway from it. But drop your stories below, drop your feedback, or drop your comments if there's any way this video resonated with you. Let's share your story in the comments. I'll be interested to see how you dealt with the diagnosis, or being told that your child has autism, or at what age or at what point you figure out that something was different with your child. Thank you for coming by today, and we look forward to developing and growing with you all. God bless you, and take care until then.